on one of my paracamping, para-survival adventures if I got to choose. Sometimes I just fly in, just stay the night, so I don't need all this gear. But if I'm going to stay a couple days, especially if it's going to be near a water source, this is what I take with me because I need to keep everything dry. And if I can't fly out, I'll use a river or a lake wherever I camped out. Like if it was on an island, I could paddle out. If it was on a river, like a riverbed, and I can't fly out because it's too small of an area or the conditions got bad, then I can float down to the next bridge or paddle out. So these are space saver bags. They're pretty large. This is 40 by 30 inch or 100 by 80 centimeter. Comes with 3 bags and a suction pump thing so that you can draw all the air out. This is a huge wing because I'm taking a lot of gear with me. So this is the Ozone Mojo 2. This is like the second one that I've had. I really love these wings because of how stable they are. And this is the extra large. So I take a lot of extra gear with me. And I've got it in the sausage bag for folding to make sure that none of the leading edge battens get folded up, because I can lay those down in perfectly flat, lay this in here, suck out all the air, and I know I'm good. I don't have to worry about something getting twisted and then all the air getting sucked out, and then they're going to probably stay bent. So this also prevents it from getting wet. This is all the frames. So this is titanium. I like to have extra trash bags with me when I'm on the river or around water, especially salt water. There's all the battens. Inside of here, this is actually a bicycle frame, or a bicycle bag. So it's made for outdoors. I don't really use the inner bag so much, but I like that it's got this ability to slide that over my weight shift bar over, and it also has Velcro on the inside, so I can hook this to my frame, Velcro it, so I don't have to worry about it shifting back, getting near the prop, or pushing the netting into the prop. There's nothing to come off of it. Everything's sewn onto it. So again, I don't have to worry too much about things moving around. My 2-pound rafts, there's 2 of them, and they're both 2 pounds each. Pack rafts go in there. And that allows me to not only have 1 raft for me, but 1 raft for all my gear. You can do it in one, but it's cramped. I have a video of me trying to fit everything into 1 pack raft, and that was a pain. Then I got chased by a goose, which is even more of a pain. So here's my prop. It's got 2 sides for this prop bag to protect it, so it's padded. It's padded on the inside with neoprene, or what looks like neoprene. And then I've also wrapped bubble tape around that as well. So that goes with me. That packs down. Distillation, especially for salt water. I have another video on this. This is the larger version of what I take with me. It has everything inside of it that I need. So the collection here, all the tubing that's lightweight that can go with me. This makes a good seal. I can distill water, giving me the gold standard of water purification in the wild, primitive water purification. Obviously there are better methods, but this is the best I can do in the wild, so I can distill my water. It holds, I think, about 2 liters, 1.5 liters. So I normally fill it up to 1 liter, so right about halfway. It's got a little area at the bottom that I can build, like even when I set it down inside the fire, air can still get to it, so flames can still get to the bottom. It's perfect for distilling. Makes about 1/2 cup in 30 minutes if you sustain the fire. So that's distillation. This is not required, but this is my gin tent. So this is my paramotor tent. It uses the paramotor frame to create this huge tent around that, and then on the inside you have a smaller tent. So it's like having 2 tents in one. It's great because you have all this room underneath the initial tent that covers up the paramotor. You have all this room for your gear. I have a video on that as well. And then you have a tent on the inside. I had another Marine Corps just pop-out tent that I really like because it's got a bug screen. So if it's a hot day, it's not raining, and I want airflow, I can use that, and I'll show that in another video. So that's my gin tent. Not required, because you could just take a smaller tarp and do the same thing, especially if you had a pop-up tent. Obviously, I take my reserve. Obviously, take my helmet. All this has to be packed into that pack wrap, so that's why I'm showing it. I took out all the unnecessary tools. So the things that I'm more than likely going to have a problem with, I kept in here, like idle, setting the low needle, or setting idle. So I've got a little screwdriver in there. I've got the ability to take the spark plug off, and the screwdriver piece that's on there. Obviously all the parts to the prop, the small stuff. So all the bolts and the spacers are in there. An extra spark plug's in there as well, in case I foul a plug. Then, this is the netting. It goes around the frame. I don't believe I left anything in there. And then obviously the frame itself that goes in. And I have some little things that I slip on to pad these ends. Even though it's padded in the pack raft, and this is a super tough pack raft, I still don't want anything to get bent. This is titanium. Haven't had any issues with it, but you never know. And then I just stuff my throttle down inside there. So now I'm going to set everything up inside the raft and show you what that looks like. Show how all this was packed down. So I've got the motor turned up, and sometimes, not all the time, if I have enough room, I'll pad the cylinder head because I don't want any of these to get broken off. So I've got it face down, slightly at an angle so it won't leak fluid if I have any remaining gas in there. But I try to burn off all the gas if I know I'm not going to fly out. Then I've got everything that you saw in the previous videos attached, but they're all interconnected, and I've got them bungeed on. So I have bungees that hook onto this. And so anything that will not float, or even if it does float, that you think can come separated, they all kind of need to be interconnected. So I normally will tie them together as best I can. The hardest one, which is the reason I have the wing on the bottom, that's the hardest one to kind of connect and tie in. You can do it. I mean, all you have to do is find a good area that's not going to puncture the bag and tie it off some way. But I have it at the very bottom. I have the harness face down, slightly leaned up, so if I do have some fuel, it won't leak. The things that are more likely to get broken and that won't float, like my prop is tied to the engine. Something I failed to mention last video, I bring a lot of tie downs. So a lot of little tie downs that can be cinched together along with bungees. You want everything interconnected. So if one thing comes apart, it's going to be connected to something that may be connected still to the raft. So there are other spider bungees that you can buy. This one was just a long piece of bungee that I used carabiners with, and I like it because I can kind of change how it's set up based on how I lay this down. This bag is water resistant, and so I have my now one of these pack rafts is not blown up, so I would have extra space. So I have my reserve in here bottom down with this other one on top, but I can put extra gear. A lot of times I'll take this bag in with me because I'll have my food in there, and so I'll want something where I don't have to keep coming back to this one and getting stuff off of it. So some of this stuff I can take with me, and once I have both pack rafts aired up, the tent actually goes inside here, or it can go inside the seat on the paramotor. When it turns down, it can stay in there. I don't have to take it out until I need it. That's it. I mean, pretty simple. One thing I failed to mention, since I don't have to build a shelter, I normally only have to take a multi-tool with me. So this is a little Gerber. It's got a good saw blade on it, good sharp knife, several other tools that I can use in conjunction with the tools that I bring with me. So it has a pair of pliers. The only thing in that video is the very first para-survival video I made. If you go back and watch that one, I'm using a little bit larger of a pack raft, and you can see I took a little mini plane with the top 80 engine, which is a lightweight engine, piled all that stuff in, and I kind of learned from the last few experiences kind of how to refine what gear I take. But this would be like a multi-day trip. Normally if it's just an overnighter, I don't take this much gear. There's no need for it. And so this is kind of combining practicing survival skills. It's not real survival, but it's at least you get to go out and practice it while you're camping. So it gives you something fun to do while you have that downtime when you can't fly. So I'm normally flying early in the mornings, late in the evenings, and so it gives me a chance midday to do stuff and practice skills that are just fun and free to do. Everything that I showed you that went in the pack wrap, here's the wing, helmet, reserve. I can use the other reserve pocket over here on the side as storage. So I can take stuff in that. Sometimes I put my distillation device in there. Sometimes I can put a pack raft and then put the distillation device over with the other pack raft. It just depends. I've got my toolkit in here. I've got the gin tent. I have pack rafts over there. I have my, hanging out of that pocket is my prop cover. So that's the one that slid over here on my weight shift bars. And then the props on there. So that's everything that was shown back together. So I've got all the bar, I've got the frame together, got the netting on, got the prop back on. So it's really not that much stuff because this will be over my head. Don't have to carry that. All this stuff I'll be wearing. The addition will be 4 pounds of pack raft and then whatever my distillation device weighs. So another 6-7 pounds total that I'm carrying, besides my multi-tool and my phone and camera gear. Normally camera gear is on the helmet. So that is it. That's everything I need to be comfortable and to do a longer distance trip. And some food like granola bars or whatever I have in there, whatever I want to bring all of that in. It's a big waterproof north face. It's got some extra carabiners on the front for paragliding carabiners, but this thing is huge. And then I've got some standard carabiners over here. I've had this for a long time. I do have my windsock, my Parajet cover for the whole frame, my training harness, the pole for the windsock. But I throw all my other gear in there, so when I get ready to go, I look at it the night before, put it all in my bag. So all I have to do is put this on the back of the car, and I know everything else is in the bag.